Let's start with this one. Why do you think that salting meat before you cook it is bad?
I do salt meat before I cook it. I just don't
Well,
salt the shit out of it, and I do it about 5 seconds before I throw it on the grill or in the frying pan or whatever.
I'm just saying that goes against a lot of chefs and people who grills ideas.
Not from the chefs I've learned from. Because
I actually have about
what
5 videos
happens
I looked
is
up if you want to see them.
what happens is that when you salt the meat too early, the salt actually starts curing the meat a little bit, and you get kind of a crap skin.
But not when you just sprinkle salt on top. You'd have to like pack it in salt to
Well,
do
like I
that.
said, I like to salt right before I throw it on. Again,
Well, the steaks, that's going to get you a poor product.
not
Because then
according
you're
to
just going to
Gordon
steam.
Ramsay, but
I have
yeah,
one of his videos.
you
He
know.
talks about how you should do it.
But anyway, that's what I
Plus, I
like
don't
to do.
believe Gordon Ramsay's the end all be all.
I don't either, but generally my consensus is you salt it heavy, you salt it hard, and then you throw it on the grill because you're going to lose 50%.
But still, doing it ahead of time is still better.
Not in my opinion.
Well, I mean,
And I have salted it ahead of time, and I felt the product was inferior.
well, you also have to cook it right after
You
you do
do
that.
know there is no one correct way to cook, right?
Well, yeah, but there are techniques that give you a better product.
No, there is no one universal technique for the best steak. See,
I mean, you have to account for taste,
this is the thing. This is okay. I know what you're. No, there is no one universal way to cook a steak. There is no one universal technique for a steak. There isn't. There just isn't. Cook your steak how you want to cook your steak, or cook your steak as the situation arises. Believe it or not, there are even rare times, very rare times, when you want to go low and slow with a steak.
I mean, if you want to reverse
don't.
it,
I generally don't do that. But no, there is no one universal way to cook anything.
all right, I'm glad we agree about that.
You know, cook your steak how you want to cook your steak.
Well, that's not generally the opinion you've had. You usually say, like, the way I do it's the right way. You have to do it this way. Or anybody else is doing it wrong.
No, the only time I say that is when some fat ass in a corn costume is intent on saying his way is the best way.
Wow, 6 minutes in.
The only other time is when it's Stephen Wright.
I guess we can get into the meat of it. What I want to talk about is your views on the age of consent.
Okay. I've been pretty
Now,
consistent.
yes, you've stated, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that the youngest you would date is 18 because that's the law.
I don't know if I would date them, but it would be legal for me to do so.
Right. Now, if the age were lowered, would that change your opinion on that?
Probably not. But
The
law
like, say tomorrow is
the law is the law.
like if it went down to 16 federally tomorrow, then that would be your bottom.
Probably not, because they're not adults. They can't vote.
Well, say it did change to that.
Well, then we would have had to have a constitutional amendment.
Okay, I'm not worried about. I'm just talking about hypotheticals.
Hypothetically, if a 16-year-old could be a fully emancipated person and make their own bad decisions, would I date them? Absolutely not. I'm not driving them to high school every goddamn day.
Now you say make their own bad decisions. So you think that would be a bad decision for them to make?
I don't know if it'd be a good decision or a bad decision, but it's their decision to make.
But you would be half of that decision.
Okay, let me ask you this. So you think it's wrong for, let's say, somebody my age, a 41-year-old, to date somebody who's, let's say, 18 or 19? Yes or no?
Morally, I don't. I think that's wrong. Yes.
Okay. Is it morally wrong for an 18-year-old girl on the day of her 18th birthday open up an OnlyFans and get on there on camera and is naked as the day she's born?
It is legal for her to do that, and she can do that. But I think it's the responsibility of older people to be like, I don't want to look at that.
But they're going to, and she'll happily take their money.
That's fine, but I would not.
But
Knowing to look at an
morality, but
18-year-old
here's the thing: morality is subjective. Morality is unique to the person. There is no universal moral truth that we all agree on, because if there was, again,
that would be law.
Well, there's always
Law would be the
exceptions
closest
to the
thing.
law. There's always exceptions to the law. Generally, murder is illegal. The killing of another human being is illegal. However, we have
Self-defense.
exceptions in the law. Hence is why Kyle Rittenhouse is not sitting in a prison cell right now.
Unfortunately, but yes, true.
Oh, really? So he can't defend himself. So Black Lives Matter should just be able to burn down Kenosha, Wisconsin.
If I go running around in a big crowd with a rifle on my arm, I'm looking for trouble. I would be a target. Yeah, he was a target with that giant gun. Fuck him.
Oh, good thing we don't have people like you running things.
Well, I'm also glad people like you aren't running things, so feelings
Run a
mutual.
lot better if I was.
Wow, so nothing social, just basically deregulation.
I'm a big fan of deregulation.
Yeah, I know you are. It's dumb. You're voting against your best interests.
No, I'm not. What does the government make better?
I mean, they're doing the EPA for one.
The Environmental Protection Agency. Basically an utterly useless fucking organization that halts necessary projects because some fucking endangered flower is growing there.
So you don't know what they do. That makes sense to why you feel that way. They keep companies in line and stuff from polluting to keep people safe because they dump waste in water and destroy habitats that keep our ecosystem running.
Yeah, most animals are smart enough to adapt to a new set of circumstances.
Not when they don't have a forest to live in, then they just die.
They can adapt to another
Do you think
location.
evolution is instantaneous?
I think animals are pretty good at adapting, because the caribou adapted pretty well to that pipeline we were building. They used it to shield themselves from the summer Alaskan sun.
Okay,
No, all the EPA does is a pain in the ass. Look, if it was just regulating companies to make sure they don't dump shit in the fucking water supply, and okay, we got to set aside this, and this, but I'll give you a perfect example. You can't do certain things if your private property has 1 centimeter of like a wetland on it, even though it is your property.
Then you should probably just sell the property.
And finally, Minnesota changed that law so people get full autonomy of their private property.
Okay.
So
if
you should just sell your house, because it technically one foot of it has a wetland on it.
I don't think that's a situation that has ever happened, but sure.
That happened
did
in
happen.
Minnesota. Yes. That's
Okay,
what caused them to change
I'm not going
the
to take your
law.
word for it, but that's fine. So, but yes, we should be protecting as much wildlife as we can, and
okay,
keep communities clean and safe.
Getting back to what we were talking about before, again, we have to have an age where we become adults. And I think it's ridiculous that we technically have 2, 18 and 21. I'm for 18. That being said, once you reach the age of 18, you're now an adult, and then morality is in the eye of the beholder. It's legal. Again, if an 18-year-old girl can get on OnlyFans and do whatever she wants, then anyone she was willing to date, even if they're a 55-year-old sugar daddy and they know goddamn well what the relationship is, She's an adult.
Yeah, she can do that, but I think it's the responsibility of older people to be like, that's an 18-year-old. They were a child yesterday. I'm not going to get involved with them romantically or sexually. I think it's creepy if you want to do that. I find that borderline pedophilic. If you're waiting for somebody to turn 18.
Now you're encroaching on calling those people
Dave,
criminals.
you're not going to sue me. Stop trying to say you're going to sue me.
But right now you're into slander territory.
Then call a lawyer. You're not going to scare me.
Why would I waste my time? You probably got $50 in the bank.
Yeah, well, you'd be lucky to get that much from me. But like I said, it's fucking creepy for like a 40-year-old to try to date an 18-year-old.
According to you.
According to most everybody. That's not a creepy, like, ooh, she's 17 today, but 18 tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the way the law works.
Just like when,
when
Billie Eilish turned 18, people were really creepy about it.
By the way, when fucking Bieber turned 18, you had a bunch of fucking middle-aged wine moms wanting to fuck him.
All right, Dave, open your ears for a second. That's creepy too. There's not a double standard for it.
And yet, society doesn't care if a 40-year-old woman is dating a 20-year-old guy.
That is
granted,
also
it
creepy.
Doesn't happen, but
I mean, society as a whole, maybe, but not anybody on the left. That's still creepy.
You really want to go? Your side has Your side has fucking drag queen story hour, my friend.
Wow, somebody in a costume reading a book? They better not go to an amusement park. They might see somebody in a costume.
An inherently sexualized
Have you ever seen a drag show live, Dave?
I've never seen a drag show live because I'm not gay.
Do you have to be gay to go to a drag show?
Generally, I'd say yeah, because it's a bunch
I'm
of
not
men
gay. I've been to one.
Performing for the sexual gratification of other men.
They're not all sexual.
Drag is an inherently sexual art form.
To someone repressed like you, yeah, it might seem that way, but
I'm
no,
repressed.
A person in a dress isn't sexual.
Really, I'm repressed.
Yeah, very much so.
How?
You're very creepy about sex. You obsess over other people's sex lives.
No,
Would you find that weird?
I don't obsess. Only when it makes absolutely no sense on paper, and I've been told 7 different things.
So, like, you obsess over Jake and Sarah.
Because it
that
makes
Sarah's
no sense.
Out with Tyrone. When, like, that's just a racist caricature.
The first conversation I had with him when she interjected herself, that's literally what they said, that they had an open relationship.
Jake and Sarah said that Sarah goes out with a guy named Tyrone and he has sex with her in public after they go to the club.
I don't know if she said that exactly. I probably said that as a joke, but no, Jake literally said they had an open relationship and she dates other men. Then it switched to she's his devoted sex slave, collar-wearing.
It sounds like you don't listen when people talk.
They have literally said this.
You want me to explain it to you once and for all? Because I know you're going to forget tomorrow, but
whatever.
Okay,
Again,
so now
why do you care what I think of their relationship?
The first part, I think it's funny that you obsess over it so much. Second of all, it's weird that you just don't listen and you just repeat the same shit over and over and over. Like, here's a perfect example. The lemonade.
Yeah.
In Jake's video about the lemonade, in the first probably 2 minutes, he says, I'm using this technique from a Chef John video, not his lemonade video. It was a lemon cake video where you desiccate the lemon zest in sugar and it helps suck out the oil.
No, he literally said he's making the state.
No, he didn't,
yes,
Dave.
He did.
You need to listen. No, he didn't.
I did that video.
I would love you to go watch it and listen. Like, that's what drives me crazy about you. You don't listen to anybody. You just wait for your turn to talk.
Again, I don't know what to tell you. He said he was making the State Fair lemonade.
No, he didn't. He never says the word State Fair in that whole video.
Well, whatever.
Never once.
Regardless, Zest is not going to probably get you and again,
Zest
it's
is
his
the only
lemonade.
thing from the peel that has flavor.
He can do what he wants, but Zest is just a topping. That's why you don't, that's why you put raw zest on a fucking salad.
other than the juice. That's where the essential oils are, is in the zest, not the pith.
So,
I mean,
you need the rinds for that technique to work.
you don't. The rind, the pith, the white part has no flavor. It's just bitter. The flavor comes from the zest and the juice.
Yeah, that's why you try to keep as much of the rind or whatever, the white
and
part
what would be
out.
on the outside of the rind, Dave?
Gee, that would be the thing. But here's the thing.
The zest? Wow.
Do you know
okay,
do you know the zest is not going to dissolve? It's
okay. It doesn't have to.
You're going to have if somehow there is enough oil left in the zest to do this.
That's where all the oil is.
And two, I don't even think he had enough lemons. But if it does, then guess what? You're going to have the pulpiest piece of crap lemonade on the planet. He didn't even heat up the damn water.
You don't have to if you're going to let it sit.
Oh, my God.
Like, you just don't. Like, I know a lot about cooking, too. Like, I've been doing it for 20
how are the
years.
oils supposed to activate? Generally,
when you
they're
break
activated by
when you break the zest with the zester, that's what it does. It releases the oil.
Well, I'd love to know who the hell taught you how to cook, because...
You want to know somebody I studied under?
Who did you study under?
Robert Irvine.
Who?
The guy from Restaurant Impossible.
You studied under him?
Yes, I took a summer program when I was in high school at Johnson & Wales, because he did some guest teaching there.
And he would probably slap the shit out of you for trying to make State Fair lemonade like that.
That's a dumb take to have, but all right. I know your chat got pissed off when I said that, because it's just they claimed I was a chef, but no, I took some classes about that, and I've been cooking for 20 years.
You've been cooking for 20 years at professionally, semi, or are you like me?
No, I've been... Okay, 20 years ago, I was a child. That's when I started to learn. It's been building. But I have taken professional classes. I didn't go to college for it, but I took classes at college.
So are you, again, like, so you're somebody who just cooks as a hobby, basically?
I cook to survive, and I cook things I like.
So a hobby.
Okay, yeah. I'm not a professional chef, no. I've worked in a kitchen before, but not like a professional kitchen.
Okay. I don't know. We're getting derailed on this.
It's just curious to how... I don't want to talk about Jake anymore. He's not part of this.
Fine.
But getting back to what we were talking about, the age of consent thing. My thing is, yes, 18-year-olds are legal to date and have sex with if you want to. But as an adult, an older adult, you should be like, that person is not developed enough mentally or emotionally to want to be with.
Okay, that would
because they're probably still in high school.
And I will consent that would probably be a turnoff for most people that are in their 40s. Again, I'd probably look at an 18-year-old chick and be like, just shut the hell up, get away from me, child. But
see, I feel that way about like 18 to 22-year-olds.
But at the same token, if a 44-year-old wanted to date a 19-year-old and she was fine with it, and the relationship's consensual, there's nothing wrong or illegal about it. And the morality argument is bullshit, because morality is different for every single person. This is the other thing. Laws are not based on morality. Okay? They're based on
like public consensus, hopefully.
Basically, a law is there for the general idea is it's supposed to stop something that damages society in a major way. Now, I think a lot of things that are illegal should be legalized myself, but
drugs mainly.
Drugs, gambling. I think the age to buy alcohol should be lowered to 18. I think it should be 18 or 21 when you're an adult. I don't give a damn which way we go. But I think
it should just be one age. Like
yes. But since the military age is preferably 18, like, okay, let me ask you this: why is it 18? Why is it creepy for an 18-year-old to be dating somebody in their 40s, but it's perfectly fine for an 18-year-old to join the military and get blown to smithereens on a rock? They can decide to do that.
I mean, yeah. Listen. The military coerces so many people to join it, and some people are desperate to join because they have no other options. I think that's very exploitative too.
But
I know tons of people who joined the military, and that's every story is I had no other choice, and also they lied to me and said I wouldn't be going overseas, and they always do.
Well, you should honestly expect that, but
kids. I mean, the 17-year-old doesn't know that, you know.
But again, nobody forced them to do it. They made their own decision.
I mean, yeah, but it's still they were coerced into doing it because they had no other choice.
They had a choice. Don't sign
the choice
the
is like be homeless, join the military. What are you gonna
do? And during boot camp, but also the problem is the crop of young men are so soft and doughy that most of them are too fat to fight, and the other, well, they cry if you get their fucking pronouns wrong.
I mean, okay. I don't think people who are concerned about pronouns probably aren't joining the military because they know it's, they're not going to have a great time. Like, women don't have a great time in the military still.
Yeah, but we completely
they're assaulted and sometimes murdered. And what was that? I'm sorry.
I said, but we completely eliminated the standards for them just because we have to be equal and inclusive.
They still have standards. They have. They have slightly different standards, but I mean, they still have standards.
It's the same thing as the fire department. They have to be all equal and diverse, and women can completely fail the physical for a firefighter, which would I
don't believe that in any way.
Oh yeah, no. Men are required to basically run up 10 flights of stairs carrying 100 pounds of shit, because that would be the weight of essentially a human being. And women are physically incapable of doing that, and the fire department still gives them a job because they have to have women on the goddamn force. I'm fine with women in the fire department, but they should be doing a job suited for them, a.k.a. cooking for the men.
Yeah, you do. I mean, most firefighters are men and do all the stuff themselves. Like,
yeah, I'm aware of that.
Plus, there are women who can do that. There are women who are physically fit enough to do that. Not as many as men, probably.
Maybe 1%. Maybe, and I'm being
okay.
Real
Then
nice.
1% of women can be firefighters. I mean, there are women police officers
who are often a liability. Like do you know how many times a woman officer has had her gun taken and had the shit beat out of her, or a woman bailiff has had her gun taken and there's a problem in the courtroom? Again, I honestly believe that there are professions where it should be either A, women only, or B, men only.
What's a women only one, you think?
I don't think men are particularly good at dealing with children.
Why?
Because we're not built for it. Excuse me for 1 second.
Men. Okay, I'll wait.
Sorry, I had to kill a bug.
That's fine. Okay, back to so you don't think men have a place to be around children?
I think dads do fine, but do I think men have a place in the childcare industry or in K through 2nd grade? No. Men do not do that well with children. Not
but why, like why? How do they not do well with children?
Because women are naturally more maternal. They're the caregivers.
So, but like nothing to back it up, other than you think women do better raising
statistically,
kids?
Okay, basically, and there have been studies done on this. Kids about 0 to roughly about 3rd grade, do better and respond better if it's a stranger, if that stranger happens to be female.
Okay, and let's get into that. Why do you think that is?
Because kids are just naturally a little bit more drawn to females because they were inside their mother not that long ago.
I have a different theory. Even still today, most small children spend more time with their moms because usually that's just societally that's who takes care of children.
Well,
And it's
because
changing, but
women have the infinite patience needed to deal with it. Again, my sister will sit
but
and
like not
watch the
all
most
women are the exact same.
my sister will watch the most insane sipid crap for hours on end with my niece. And after one showing of Frozen, I'm fucking out. Now, granted, I'm an uncle, but even my brother-in-law, he's got a way smaller limit than my sister.
But that's not. I mean, I've taken care of children too, and had to be around them for days, taking care of them. Like I don't freak out and scream and say like we're not watching this anymore. Like you just like that's not all men. Just like it's not all women who are good mothers or naturally want to be moms.
But I would say the high likelihood, there is a higher likelihood of, basically, women are geared to take care of children. Men are not. And this is biological. Again,
I don't think
men,
there's any
men do not,
biology
men
to
who
back
do
that
not
up.
have kids generally do not regret it, or do not regret it to the same degree. Women who are in their 40s realizing their maternal window just closed go insane.
I mean, that's an incel take to have, yeah. Like anti-feminism, like all older women without kids are miserable, but I don't think that's true. Other than a few people.
Well, then
Like, I don't
why
think
is it? Then why is it decade after decade, especially after feminism convinced the world to let women go to work? Women's happiness
capitalism
has
did
fallen.
that mainly.
Women's happiness has fallen decade after
Everyone's
decade
happiness has
after
fallen.
decade. No, men's has remained pretty consistent.
The
only thing
there's
that
a
would- the
huge
only thing that
loneliness
would-
problem going on right now across all boards.
What?
There's a huge like loneliness and unhappiness problem
Well,
going across all boards.
you can blame feminism for that too, because
so it's women's fault.
Because 80% of women to 90% of women, thanks to Instagram, that has a role to play too, are dating the top 10 to 20% of men. The problem is, though, those guys are just pumping and dumping them, have no desire to put a ring on it. And the problem is, while they're fine with doing that in their 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, in their 20s, but at some point in their 30s, they realize, oh my God, I need a guy. Meanwhile, the guys they want, that they are attracted to, they've moved on to the younger models. And then they realize, oh my God, I have this great career, but I can't bring myself to date the somewhat cute auto mechanic because I make $100,000 and he makes $55,000. Because again, men do not give a fuck. We will date. We could be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. We'll date the girl at fucking Starbucks. Women have to date on their level or above. Are there exceptions to that rule? Yes, but as a generality,
that is a nice yarn you've strung. Do you think women only date like rich, handsome men? That's the only people who ever get married and have kids?
No. What I'm saying is that let's take a boss babe, right?
A woman with a nice job.
She's young. She starts her own company, and by 25, she's a fucking millionaire. Okay.
Okay.
So at 25, she's still relatively hot, or as hot as she's ever going to be. And let's say, for another sake, she keeps herself in shape, and she's reasonably good looking. Let's put her at a 7. And she meets a guy who is, she's super cute, but he works at Starbucks. He's making her coffee in the morning. She is not dating him. No way, no how, because she does not want to be the man in the relationship. As a general rule, there are exceptions.
Are finances the only thing that makes a man, then?
One of the big components, yes, because women look for security in relationships. Men look for
fertility. If a
fertility.
woman is already making good money and even owns a company, she's secure as she can be.
Yeah.
Why would she need to look for security?
But that's going to limit her options and who she wants to date.
I don't see how that. I don't follow.
Okay, how many women date down?
What is down?
How many women who are making, let's say, $250,000 a year date some guy dating the taxi driver making 35 grand a year?
You'd have to ask them. I mean, I don't know. That's not
every single
thing
one of
we
those,
study.
Everything.
Like you don't.
Oh no, there are studies on this.
It's not a thing we look at.
There are studies on this.
Can I see one?
Women do not.
Tell me one.
Women do not date down. Name me one. Like
I just told you, I don't know. You're the one saying you have proof of it. I'd love to see it. Because I don't even consider the idea of what you call dating down a thing. Other than, I guess you mean socially. But, like, you can be attracted to a really rich person or a really poor person or somebody in your same class.
Okay, here's something from The Guardian. Took me 5 seconds. Why are the odds stacked against female graduates finding a like-minded man? And again, they won't even date down in education.
That would probably be politically.
The problem is, most of the PhDs are going to women. There's not enough men to go around.
What do you mean there's not enough men to go? What does PhDs have to do?
College is a completely toxic environment if you're a man.
I mean, if you're a pussy, yeah. If you can't stand being around women or people with different opinions.
Can't stand... Colleges do not allow different opinions.
I don't think you've been to college lately, because I can give you.
I was at college when fucking you could have a difference of opinion. How many times have you had? How many times have you had students freak the fuck out because some speaker they don't like is giving a talk?
Hold on, I'll give you an example. A teacher I had in college, we were writing. It was an English class. Told us we were doing like convincing essays, and she told us if you write anything about pro-choice or like pro anything progressive, she would give you. She's like, I will give you an F, and you can go to the dean. I don't care. I mean, that was super. She was super conservative. Like the college I went to was conservative.
Yeah,
it wasn't lefty.
That's an outlier in colleges. Most of them are leftist indoctrination centers. And fine.
I've never seen evidence of that, but I mean, left as in not Republican.
The left as in psychotic left of Bernie Sanders. And you don't see any evidence of it because you happen to agree with it.
I mean, I'm not really Bernie's a little conservative for me. If you think that's...
Oh my God, if Bernie's conservative for you, I would love to hear your politics. Jesus Christ.
All right, ask me about a subject.
Exactly. Say it's okay to be white in college. Say it's okay to be a cis straight white male, and that cis straight white men built the world, and a lot of us died doing it.
I mean, built the world, but like they didn't do the manual labor in a lot of places.
Really? Is that why that famous picture of all those guys eating lunch on the high steel, all of them are white, working pretty hard in a very dangerous...
image from the 30s? Yeah, I mean, sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's because they didn't let black people work there.
God.
I mean, black people couldn't work in those jobs then.
Yes, they could.
No.
Yes, they could.
Not always. Like, legally, maybe, but they weren't hiring black people.
Yes, they were.
Okay, so you're just going to refuse to even acknowledge reality now. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Like... Slaves built all the stuff before slavery.
Really, New York had Jim fucking Crow. And no, slavery didn't build the
Mason-Dixon line.
Slavery didn't build the damn country.
Who did the manual labor?
Okay, what did slavery produce?
The labor to build everything before they.
No, it mainly produced crops.
Crops, and they built all the buildings.
No, they didn't.
And. Do you know how much money was in the South during that time?
New York was built by fucking slaves. Really?
Early on.
Massachusetts?
They had slaves there, yes.
No, they didn't.
They didn't
Not
have
at
slaves
any
up
point
there.
in American history. Maybe.
Dude. George Washington had slaves
Massachusetts.
up there.
He was from Virginia, a slave state.
He lived further up, too.
No,
and a lot of
he
others
didn't.
did, too.
He governed from Mount Vernon.
So you just slaves never crossed the Mason-Dixon line. Is that your take?
Slaves did cross it, and then they got freedom. For the most part.
Yo, that is, oh my God. And you claim to be a history buff.
Yes, sometimes they were caught because of the Dred Scott decision. You had the rise of the bounty hunters. But when they made it to places like Massachusetts, no, they were pretty much fine.
Fine. You think they were like equal?
I don't know about equality, like for marriage and shit like that. But...
No, I mean, do you think they were treated like just normal citizens?
Okay.
Like any white person?
Have you ever heard the story of Clara Brown?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. She spent the first 50 years of her life as a slave. Civil War comes, Emancipation Proclamation, South loses, she's a free woman. She spent her first 50 years of her life as a slave. She watched her children get sold off, her husband die of some goddamn disease. Now, what does she do? Does she wallow around in victimhood and
yeah, she went for the gold.
crying
I just looked it up. I don't need the whole story.
Yeah, she started a laundromat, and it was successful, started some more, got some mines, and basically when she died a multi-millionaire.
Okay. That's one woman who, good for her. And also out west, when we started settling the West, they did not bring the same ideas of race out there at that time.
Oh,
the
it was West? You mean the Native Americans? Okay. First off,
yes, they had slaves too, and they fought each other, and they were violent. I know.
And they were our greatest rivals. It took us 400 years to beat them.
Sounds like we shouldn't have fucking come here, huh?
Gee, seems like we conquered the land like everyone has conquered everything. Like the Native American
let's take on a bunch of people who don't have metallurgy. That's a fair fight.
We sold them guns. It was the first thing we sold them way back in 1502.
They couldn't produce guns. Not all of them had guns. Or
and
like a stockpile or the military behind them. Or
no,
the
by the height of the Indian Wars, they were just as well armed as we were. The problem was we sold guns to their enemies, and they were way more hateful of the other tribes than they were of the U.S. cavalry.
Because they were made desperate by colonizers.
No, they were not.
They fought before we got here, but they had confederacies and alliances, and
do you know why
certain parts of the country they got along pretty well.
Do you know why Cortez was able to topple the Spanish Empire? It wasn't due to superior technology. He had it. It wasn't due to guns. He had them. It wasn't due to any of that shit because they were outnumbered so badly. How he did it was he got all the other tribes the Aztecs were fucking over into an alliance, and that's how he did it. Otherwise, the Spanish conquistadors would have been a footnote in history.
I mean, yeah, that's the story everywhere. They did whatever it took to take over the land.
So did the Native Americans from other tribes.
It wasn't our fucking
just like they conquered it. This myth of the noble Native American, and they all lived in peace, and they were all peaceable up until the fucking white man showed up is a myth.
No one has ever thought that.
So they conquered it from them. That's fine.
Okay, you're just not listening. You're just making stuff up.
And we have to fucking give the land back. What's the difference?
No one thinks that the Native Americans were just peaceful little Earth people that didn't have any fights or anything. No one thinks that.
Then please explain to me why a Comanche, the Comanche conquering shit from the Apache, is any different from the U.S. Army conquering shit from, let's say, the Sioux.
Well, first of all, because this has been their land since they got here.
No, it
hasn't. Since they crossed the bridge,
it has changed hands so many times, and so many tribes are lost to history. No, it is not their land. It is the land soaked in the same fucking blood. But because you're a self-hating white person, I assume, you think somehow we're bad.
On your part. I mean, also because we came here just to make money off this land. Like, that's the only reason they came here, is because the main driver was to get supplies and start new colonies.
South America, you may have a case.
America had timber. No. That's what Europe needed. That's the main thing. And then cotton took off, and tobacco. Timber was a huge resource here because it was just wilderness from coast to coast.
Timber was, first off, no, this was not a giant forest when we got here.
Okay, so you're just making stuff up.
So the Great Plains don't exist. The Great Plains
not literally. There wasn't a tree in every square foot of the country, but it was not. It was. They were basically untouched forests, other than the controlled burns that Native Americans did, and the stuff they needed.
Yeah, and we came here. People came here to, in some cases, escape the monarchy. Some cases to escape religious persecution. And
to start companies to make money. That's what, like, to get fur and lumber and
the East India Trading Company. That had anything to do with North America.
There was more than one company back then. Like, the monarchies. That's why they
I'm
sponsored
assuming,
those trips.
Wait, the furs.
You make money. They weren't doing it just because it was fun.
You mean the goddamn buffalo trade?
No, I'm not talking about the buffalo trade. You're not listening.
Okay, so what furs were going to be shipped all the way back to England?
Beaver. That's what the French did. That was the biggest commodity. Yes, for a time.
Yeah. And how many trips did this make? Because you're talking about a minimum 90-day journey.
What do you talk? Like, a lot. That was I'm pretty sure that's what the French, like, their main thing was beaver fur. Like, it became huge in Europe.
Yeah. And most of those early colonies traded with the Native Americans because they needed their help. And what did we trade with them? We traded them guns. What did the Native Americans do with the guns? Conquer their fucking neighbors.
You're hung up on this. I've never said that Native Americans didn't have war and do violent things.
I'm hung up on. I'm hung up on. Native Americans conquer another tribe. That's cool, but we conquer them, and somehow that's evil and wrong.
Because first of all, we had much higher. Like, we had way more metal. We had armor. We had swords, guns,
armor
the numbers, and the technology.
A bullet.
What?
Armor is not going to do shit against a bullet.
Do you think Native Americans had just as many guns as colonists and the people coming over from Europe?
I would say...
And the supply. They had to buy all those supplies from the Europeans.
I would say that after the first 100 years, your average Native American tribal, wherever they were hanging out at the time, because remember, a lot of these, they didn't have infrastructure. They didn't have they were just essentially
they had towns,
nomadic.
They had towns they moved through from season to season.
They weren't nomads. I would say that the average nomadic Native American tribe was as well armed as your average 16th century settlement or colony.
But those settlements had European powers backing them up. Native Americans
and no soldiers, no power.
Now, granted, they had a delay to when they got the stuff they needed, but they still had the entire power of Europe behind them.
And no soldiers, nothing actually tangible backing it up. Also, again, one of the reasons why... Again, and then why do the Europeans constantly go to tribes and ask them for help in a war they were fighting with another European power?
Because more allies is good?
Well, if they're just insignificant and blah, blah, blah. No. They knew the terrain, they knew the land, and also they didn't have that
Yes,
many
that would be an advantage,
here.
But not a technological advantage. They had, like guerrilla warfare advantages because they were from this place. Europeans weren't. Like they had no idea how to traverse any of this at first.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If up until I'd say the 19th century, if the Native Americans had banded together for 5 minutes, they would have slaughtered us.
Yes, but the Native Americans weren't a monolith.
However, again, the tribal hatred was far greater than anything they had for us. And again, yeah, did we do some fucked up shit? Yeah, but had some fucked up shit done to us. And by the way, the Native Americans, as a depending on the tribe, won their fair share of wars.
I mean, not all of them, as we can see today.
Yes, not all of them. But now what do the Native Americans have? Oh, yeah, they have the most profitable industry.
Like 2 tribes have like 3 casinos. Wow, that's not all of them.
Yeah, because the other tribes, for whatever reason, don't want to build fucking casinos. Which is, again, stupid.
They don't have to if they don't want to.
No, they don't have to if they don't want to.
They should just, I mean, they literally live on reservations and have for generations.
Do you know that only about 10% of Native Americans live on a reservation? You're aware of that,
that's
right?
10% more than it should be?
Well, they're free to jump into America.
They don't have the money to move. Those are very poor areas who don't even have water.
Yeah, usually because of the choices of the community and own personal choices. It's the leaders that
screw over everybody below them.
So we just get rid of tribal chiefs then?
Did I say that?
You know, I mean, what do you want? If some Native American wants to lie around all day drinking fucking whiskey and lamenting about stolen land and all this other bullshit, that's his problem.
It sounds like what you do all day.
I lament.
You sit and drink and bitch about women and how men aren't men anymore. And women are bitches. And
54 minutes in.
What about it?
And what do I bitch about? Fuck it. Let's just go with women. What do I bitch about them?
Oh God.
Come on.
How they're sluts and whores and aren't faithful, but when they are, they only want to marry the best men.
No.
Okay, so you're just getting fucking mad now because you're like, I don't say that, even though we have hundreds of hours.
Yes, I say that. I say that about specific women.
Okay, you
not
always pull
as
this.
a
I don't
group.
think about all women. I just say it about every woman I see.
Because it's
What's
the
a good
truth.
woman? Name one good woman, Dave. Name a good woman you look up to.
That I look up to, that's going to be tough, but a good woman, let's take Michelle Obama. Okay, don't like her politics, but good mom, good wife.
Are those the only attributes that a woman should have?
They're kind of important attributes. Hold on, I got to kill another fucking bug. What the fuck? So should those be the only attributes a woman has? They're kind of important ones.
I don't believe that there are attributes that a woman should have that a man shouldn't, and that a man should have that a woman shouldn't.
I somewhat don't disagree.
But you don't like women to be, say, leaders.
I don't think women make good leaders, and even women do not want women bosses.
Okay, that's just a made-up thing, but...
no, you can look. There's been more than a few articles. Even women do not...
Oh, you always had these articles, but you never show them to us.
Again, you could Google it.
Well, you're making the claim. The evidence should be yours.
You're saying I'm full of shit.
Then you should want to prove yourself right.
No, I've already read the articles.
I mean, you sit there and say stuff, and then you're like, well, you'll have to look it up. I don't know it off the top of my head. I just supposedly read it once. So... I mean, I'm not going to take your word for anything, man. You've been known to lie about things.
Fine, I'll do it.
Like, your story changes every time we talk. So, like, I'm not taking your word for a thing. I love all these Kino Casino people in your chat, too. Like, I wouldn't get close to them.
I
By
have
the way,
no idea who the hell Kino Casino is, but whatever.
I watched some of
Yeah.
their stuff, and it's borderline like Nazi stuff.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, well, I'm sorry if I don't take your word for what a Nazi is. You probably think
Dude,
Trump
get
is a
involved with
Nazi.
them. I don't care. When they're calling people like saying people are using Jewish tactics and all this stuff, like it's not people I want to be in. I want to be with.
But
And they seem to like you for some reason.
whatever.
So are you gonna send me an article or?
I just showed the chat a bunch.
I can't
of
see. I can't see. I can't see your screen, man. It's too delayed.
I'm not.
You're gonna have to
send
just put
you
it
an
in call
article,
messages. It's
and
right here.
I'm not gonna send you an article, and then fucking again do a Google search. Do women want women bosses?
Dude, we're talking. I'm not googling 50 different things.
All right, well then fine. Don't fucking believe me. But
I won't.
again,
Okay, we're good.
You're
Let's move on to
fucking.
something else.
You're the one. I make a claim. You say that's wrong, and you don't have anything to
You
back
tell me
up
to go
your
find
shit
your
either.
sources that you found instead of just.
I've
showing
already read
to me.
it.
That sounds like a real pussy move in my book.
Anything okay, then here's the thought. Why don't you fucking make a video countering my claim?
Am I gonna?
But none of you
dude, you know how
fucking do
long I would
that.
have to make videos if I made something about every wrong thing you said? I do
Again,
nothing but
even
make videos
Jake
about
doesn't
you.
do that, and he's supposed to be my intellectual and culinary superior.
Hey, he is, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
'cause
though
we're
he's
not-
never been
who's
able to
gonna make a
reproduce
video
anything
every
I
time you're
fucking cooked,
wrong?
and he's never been able to make a coherent argument against me.
yeah, because he really wants to make burgers and casseroles and pasta dishes every day.
But,
So.
you know,
You're just getting mad about stuff.
I'm not mad.
When I'm asking you to just show me one thing, and you're like, nope, not doing it. And it's just like,
I
okay,
just
well then I'm not
showed
gonna
it.
believe you.
Watch the
I
fucking
can't see
watch
the
fucking
stream,
replay
David.
then.
So after we're done talking,
Fine, whatever.
all right, let's move on to something else.
Again.
Since you want to throw a tantrum, why don't we talk about guns?
All right.
You asked somebody, I think you asked Underhaven last week about that. What was it in Albuquerque?
You know what? No. Let's go back to this. Then why is it that if I'm wrong about women and say like they don't make good leaders, why is it that female politicians running for president poll far lower than men? Nobody wants a woman as their leader, not even a goddamn man.
Look at your name on YouTube, and you can answer your own question there.
Oh yes, my name really does that. Again,
Patriarchy.
how many successful women CEOs are there that you can name?
I don't know.
And
I
how
really
many
can't
have
name many male ones
brought
either.
and how many have brought down once great things to utter ruin?
I've never seen that happen, but
Star Wars, Lucasfilm,
made billions of dollars.
and now is worth about $8 in a fucking car wash bargain bin.
So you're throwing a tantrum because they put somebody other than white people in there? In an alien movie?
No.
Or a girl?
But what? Well,
Granted,
first off,
those new movies aren't good, but
Ray's an insufferable Mary Sue.
Luke Skywalker's a Mary Sue.
No, he's not.
Oh, why?
Luke struggles.
He learns stuff pretty quick and
grows.
really doesn't have a personality.
He grows, and then finally
Ray does.
overcomes his obstacle.
Yeah, so did Ray.
Ray, fucking Kylo Ren, the supposed villain, is no threat to her.
I mean, he captures her and takes her captive.
Wow, and she
then
breaks out
and then
immediately, and then never wins a fight against her. Ray's
Because they
undefeated
didn't
against
fight each
Kylo.
other. I mean, they both kind of worked together through a lot of it.
No,
As he was trying to convince
they
her
didn't.
to join him. I believe there's a really big scene in the second movie where after they kill Snoke, they fight a bunch of people together. And then at the end of the third one, he goes and saves her and sacrifices himself.
Fine, fuck it. You want to say that whatever the hell episode 9 was called is a good movie. That's your opinion.
Oh no!
All I know
The third one of this trilogy is garbage.
All I know is, thanks to Ray, thanks to the new Indiana Jones, and thanks to all this shit, all this woke girl boss bullshit feminist crap from Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm has lost billions of dollars, and numbers don't fucking lie.
Okay. I mean, didn't he sign over all the rights to that shit? Like, it's
Yeah,
not his
he
problem
thought it
anymore.
would be handled properly.
Listen, I don't like the new movies. Fun fact, I don't think they're very good, but
Yeah, okay. And
they have good parts. In fact, the second one is the best, and even then, it's dog shit in like 90% of it.
But again, what was wrong?
And also, I don't care that much about Star Wars anymore. It's like whatever.
Okay, then let's move on to the
Or anything
Marvels.
Disney. I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Endgame. Like, I've not followed it in the slightest sense.
So
that was the end for me. Like, I'm not a child. I'm not watching every Marvel thing that comes out.
And again, your average female politician isn't that popular. Again, outside
they win
of
elections. That's popular enough.
really, name me one female politician. There might be an exception, but most of the time, female politicians win elections in very safe states on either side of the aisle.
So you're making up a caveat. Like, yeah, a male would have the same shit. McMansion, whatever the fuck his name is, from West Virginia. Like, he's a piece of shit, but they still just vote for him.
Yeah, but the second he retires or dies or whatever, that seat's going red.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But again, he would have probably never been elected if he was a woman.
I mean, there's no way to prove that. And that's a theory. I mean, women win elections.
In safe areas. They do not win them usually in contested areas.
I mean, in a perfect world, most of the time it'd be kind of representative of the population, probably.
That's a completely stupid world. That's equity, and equity is dumb.
I'm not saying they would have to be elected because they're women. I'm just saying it would probably work out that way after a while.
Well, it's never going to work out that way. There's a
Yeah,
reason
I mean,
why
they're really sexist
predominantly
pieces of
men,
shit out there.
No, there's a reason why predominantly men, and it has nothing to do with patriarchy. It has nothing to do with society. It has nothing to do with blah blah blah. It simply is biological that men will typically fill the leadership roles.
So you don't think patriarchy exists?
No, patriarchy doesn't exist. If anything, we
Oh, so
live in a
why the fuck is that your
matriarchy.
name on YouTube and your branding?
Because it started as a joke on the old War Corp 666 channel, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'll call my new channel this.
Why'd you get rid of that old stuff?
Basically, had some issues on the channel, and
Like, I saw a couple of debates you did back in the day, and it was just like the same shit as now.
But
like, nothing really changed.
That's because leftists don't really change. They have the same stupid ideas.
I mean, your ideas haven't changed either.
Oh no, my ideas have changed a little, but yeah, I'd say from 2014 to now, I'm pretty much where I've always been. You know, again.
I mean, you claim what, libertarian?
Political compass test put me at slight right libertarian. I agree with libertarians on some things. I disagree with them on other things. I am socially, I'm probably more left than I am right.
I haven't seen that with you.
Really? How am I, socially
you claim to
conservative?
be until you're pushed on it.
How am I socially conservative?
Like you're for gay marriage, right?
Yes.
Like, full stop, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
But
Don't
you
care.
disparage gay people a lot.
No, I don't.
What about the guy? I don't know his name. I don't watch him. He's got like glasses and the beard. He's the gay guy.
Humanist Report. That is one specific person, and I would have the same
But
opinion.
you don't talk about his politics. You just make it like he's just a F slur. He's just this. He's just that.
I have called plenty. Of
I have videos.
I have called plenty of straight men faggots. I have never used it to disparage gay people, and I would treat Mike the exact same way because of his terrible policies and his utter arrogance, even if he was not gay. The only time I ever took umbrage with his sexuality was once. And that was his coming out story because he was too much of a pussy to tell his dad. He had to have his mommy do it.
Okay. I mean, maybe his dad would have been abusive about it.
He was, and he was fine with it, but he was too scared.
I mean, you don't know that. You don't know him personally.
You're right. I don't know it, but Mike kind of gives off pussy
why are you
vibes.
like, yeah, he's a pussy because he didn't do it, but like also I don't know. Like, so you're just like, he's a pussy because he wouldn't talk to his dad about being gay, even though you don't know the story or their relationship or anything like that.
No, from what I got, he was just worried that his father wouldn't accept it. And he
Do you not think that's a big deal for somebody?
Look, if you are who you are and this is what you're going to be and you're not going to deny it anymore, then yeah, you kind of have to tell everyone and be a man about it and do it your fucking self. Last time I checked, gay men are still men, are they not?
Sure.
You can't fucking, as an adult, and he was an adult, he wasn't a child. You can't have your mom fight your battles anymore.
I mean, I don't know why you're being so shitty about it. Like, who cares?
But that is probably the only time I ever brought up a gay person's sexuality in a video. At all, ever, point blank, period. I do not care if a person is gay or straight. Kyle is straight, and I shit on him all the time for his shitty relationship. Hell, I probably shit on straight men more. I shit on Kyle all the time for his shitty decisions.
But when you shit on them, it's mostly in regards to their partner, and they're like cucks and pussies. So, like, that's just back to sexism.
What?
Like, any man you disagree with, or is like a leftist or a liberal, you just automatically assume they're like being cucked by their partner.
No, I have never said Kyle's. I
believe you have said that Crystal cheats on him.
No, I didn't say. I didn't say Crystal cheated on him. I just said he's wearing a cock cage because of her.
See, why do you think that's disparaging if somebody did that?
Why do I think that's disparaging?
Like, why do you think that's bad or like an insult?
If you're letting your wife put a chastity cage on you and you're wearing it day to day.
If he did it, it would be consensual, I would hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be rape.
Yeah, there's some things that while you know, I guess maybe it just comes back to the first thing we were talking about. Maybe it's just I think that's a really stupid fucking thing to do as a man.
I think it makes you uncomfortable.
No, it doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Because you bring it up a lot. Like, you bring up gay sex a lot and all that stuff.
No,
like, it seems like it makes you very uncomfortable.
When do I bring up gay sex?
I mean, you talked about writing fanfic about being with Jake in a hot tub.
Yeah, that was a joke.
I can't tell with you a lot of the time.
Okay.
Like, even joking about it means, I mean, you're thinking about it.
Oh, so because I made a joke about it, that means somewhere deep down in my psyche, I gotta have that fucking pudgy fucking fat fuck from Michigan.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying it's weird to bring it up all the time. Like, I don't bring up... Like, me and you don't get along, but I don't make fun of, like, man, it'd be so weird if, like, me and Dave met up in a hotel room. Okay. Like, that'd be so crazy. That'd be so gross.
You're aware that I am cracking jokes about Kyle and Crystal.
Like, but they don't come off as jokes. You don't have a good, like...
Yeah, because because you're a leftist and you want all jokes to be knock jokes.
Okay, I don't... Like, I'm a fan of stand-up comedy. Like, I don't...
Really? Which comedians?
Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, Bill Burr, John Mulaney. I liked Louis C.K., but like his last special on Netflix sucked a couple years ago and I quit watching him. Even before all the stuff happened. Like, mainstream stand-up.
Really, Bill Burr, one of the more un-PC comics.
Yeah, amazingly, I think he's funny.
You know, look.
And I don't
if
think
you,
he wouldn't get along
if
with you, buddy. He's not
if
like
you cannot tell that I'm making a joke, and look, my criticism with Kyle is the fact that he put a ring on it.
Yeah, I know you're weird about that too. About how women lose value when she has children, and it's just like weird.
I mean, I'm sorry, but
I don't put value on human beings, man. They're not
what
people.
what
not,
does it benefit Kyle? What does it benefit
a loving
Kyle?
relationship and a family?
He won't have a family.
He has a family right now.
No, he doesn't. He's a stepdad. Okay,
Our
this
stepdad's
is
not family?
the huge mistake that men make, that a lot of men like IronGullet make, and do not make this. This is a stepdad. This is a stepdad. You meet a girl, she's a single mom. You're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll date her. You fall in love. You get married. You develop a bond and a relationship with that child. 5 years later, the relationship ends. She divorces you. As a step-parent, you have absolutely 100% zero rights to ever see the child again. So your bond is busted beyond repair. It is a lose-lose. And most often, step-parents can't discipline the kids. And she has a 14-year-old daughter. Okay? Not even the child's not even a daughter's daddy.
Are you scared to be around teenage women,
she's
Dave?
fucking 14. What?
Are you scared to be around teenage women? Like, what's the point? Who cares?
I'm not scared. They're fucking annoying, so I'm not going to be around them if I don't have to be. If I'm not the daddy,
a woman who has
boom,
kids.
I'm out.
Like, it's problem solved. Don't date a woman who has kids.
Meanwhile, Kyle would have been better served dating somebody probably about 10 to 15 years younger than him, and
That's back with the younger. Why are you obsessed with dating younger? I don't want to date somebody that much younger than me.
Statistically date younger.
I wouldn't.
Well, that's you.
I want somebody like around my age, like most people in the world.
Well, that's you. That is not the vast majority of men.
Do you think all men are like, I need to find a woman who is specifically younger than me?
No, there are men that date older. There are men that date chubby, fat, obese, oh my God chicks. However,
that's a weird thing to bring up for somebody who doesn't hate women.
Your average man wants a preferably younger, fit chick.
And where are you getting these numbers
because
from?
By youth,
other than youth,
a youthful woman is a fertile woman. By 30,
okay, who cares about fertility if you don't want kids? Not everybody wants kids.
I'm assuming Kyle has said he wants kids. Crystal's 40.
Okay, why do you care? You're not Kyle's
twilight.
Friend. Kyle doesn't know who you are. He doesn't care about your opinion.
I don't care, but Kyle has said
you watch him
Kyle
multiple
has
times
said
a week.
He wants kids. He is not going to get them from this woman. She's 40.
All right, they could adopt.
She's my age. She's 41. That's not a biological child.
Do you think children have to be biological to have a loving relationship with them?
Absolutely not. However, there is a
okay,
difference.
Then what's your point? Who cares?
There is a difference.
I don't think there is.
Well, you can believe that all you
want. I think
if you
make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal.
Sanders policies can work.
No, I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan. Not really.
Yeah, you said he's conservative. So
yeah.
Universal health care is not left enough, even though it's fucking impossible.
Well, that's the one that would work. I mean, you'd have to.
No, it wouldn't.
Well,
it would turn the fucking,
every study ever has
it would
shown
turn the fucking goddamn hospital into the DMV. And no, it doesn't work.
They work so efficiently now.
You can look to Canada for a.
Okay, I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about fake. You have to wait to get looked at. I don't care about that.
Oh, it's fake.
That's just a story y'all make up.
No, it's not.
Do you think here in America you get to go see the doctor whenever you want? Because guess what?
Yeah.
I don't.
I call.
There's plenty of waiting time.
I have an appointment with either that day, the day after, or sometimes 2 days out. I see him at the appointed time. He writes a script if I need one. I go to Walgreens. By the time I get there, the script is all ready. Pay the money and out the door.
For a basic doctor, probably, but not anything above a normal practitioner.
Nope, bullshit. My
Okay,
dad
do you want
had-
to?
my
I have an
dad-
anecdote
my
too. Do you
dad
want to hear
had-
it?
My dad had a medical
I don't care about
problem.
your dad, Dave.
My dad had a medical problem. Wing bam boom. He went from emergency room to operating room in less
That's
than an
not
hour.
okay. That's an emergency. I'm talking about normal stuff. Going to see a doctor. Emergencies don't count. They have to try to keep you alive.
I just said a general practitioner visit. It's either that day, the day
Anything
after, or
above
2.
that, say you need to go. Like I had to go see a podiatrist. It was a 6-month wait to go see a podiatrist.
And you live in America.
Yes,
Then I don't.
that happens all the time. I have oncologists that I have to go see. That it was like a 3-month wait, and that's like an emergency, like not life or death, but like something I need to go see.
Well,
but it was
then
still 35.
I don't want to delve too far into your own personal medical situation.
Oh, now
But
you don't
that
like anecdotes?
but that seems ridiculous. My mom had to see an oncologist, and it was boom, day or 2.
I mean, I'm assuming she had cancer then. I don't have necessarily cancer, but I have a blood disorder that is treated the same way.
Is it manageable with therapeutics?
What do you mean by therapeutics?
Like, do you have a regimen of medication you take every day to manage?
I
your
do, and it
condition?
had to be monitored for months to get it right.
Okay,
And I've had that throughout my entire life.
You are not necessarily you're a victim of being bumped for people that need it immediately. You know, yes, there's a need-based necessity in medical. Is every single business is shortening their hours. Every single business has less people. There is a worker shortage, and it's undeniable.
Yeah, it sounds like the companies need to get their shit together and pay people better and treat them better.
No, it's nobody is applying.
Yeah, because you're a cuck, dude. You want to be stepped on by all these people above you.
No,
I'll never understand
nobody
that.
is
I'll never
applying for the
understand why
job.
you.
Okay, let me ask you this. Then why is it that the Minneapolis Police Department cannot get anyone to apply for the job, despite
no one likes
a court
cops and
order?
no one wants to be one.
Oh no, people want to be a cop, but they really shouldn't. They're the type of people that shouldn't be a cop.
Hey, you know what? You know what I hear from that story?
Or what do you
Less
mean?
cops. Let's go.
Less cops. So you want us to be like San Francisco, Chicago, LA, where crime is just fucking rampant? And every single goddamn store is closing. Meanwhile, the Chicago residents are protesting like crazy about it, wanting stores to come back. Meanwhile, Brandon Johnson in Chicago is literally saying, we're going to build a grocery store and fund it with your fucking tax dollars.
Hey, if they need a grocery store, that's how you got to do it.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if you're just naive. I don't know if you just live in fantasy land or if you're just fucking stupid.
You know, that's funny. I think the same thing about you.
Well, except I live in reality.
I mean, a drunken haze of reality, sure, but
Still closer to reality than whatever you're living in. You seriously think a municipality, you seriously think a city-run grocery store could work?
I mean, co-ops
Now,
exist.
they exist, a city-run or a county-run grocery store, but it's typically rural.
Yeah, it's a co-op.
But a city-run one? No. Not going to happen. And it doesn't matter because it's just going to get ripped off into oblivion. Personally, unless Chicago starts cracking down on shoplifting, they shouldn't be getting any taxpayer money for it.
I mean, you're off base with me because I don't even think basic food should like cost out of pocket for people.
I believe that food shouldn't cost any money if you grow it yourself. However, if somebody else did the labor to grow the food, it should cost money.
The government already subsidizes all produce and meat, so
Yeah,
and
to
dairy.
keep food artificially low. But
So why
again-
even
but
bother?
again,
Why bother charging a low price for it and not just take out
because
the
people
middleman?
will gut it.
If people had the stuff they needed, people aren't going to hoard.
Oh my god!
much as they-
really? So people that can't afford a ribeye and have to settle for a chuck steak are just going to keep settling for a chuck steak When the ribeye is free? Fuck that. No.
I don't even know what you're saying. That didn't make any sense.
A ribeye steak is typically one of the most expensive cuts of steak from a cow.
I'm familiar with steaks, yes.
Okay. A chuck steak is typically a much cheaper cut of steak. Right?
Yes.
If both of them cost nothing, then the ribeyes are going to be hoarded because human beings are greedy by nature.
There'd be no incentive to hoard things. Plus, like, I don't even think that kind of stuff would be... That might be a luxury item.
It's food. It provides the same
Yeah, but
nutrient.
it's a food you don't need steak.
It's a food that provides the same amount of nutrients.
Yeah, but it's a luxury. It's like Doritos. Like, Doritos aren't going to be free. You'd have to pay for those. Ice cream.
Oh, so okay, so
luxury items. Yeah, you pay
what
for
would
it.
what would be free in your vision?
Basic fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And I don't even know about protein. Any proteins?
Well, you need protein to live.
Maybe basic proteins like chicken and ground beef.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I'm off the top of my head.
But all protein basic, all beef provides within a nut nugget of a window. It's about the same. So, nutritionally, a ribeye is, well, actually, nutritionally, a ribeye is worse than an eye of round.
I don't need to get the inside track on beef. Like, I know how much it costs. I'm just saying. Like, it could even be like synthesis. Like, the fake meat could be what people can get.
$20 says in 10 years we'll be finding out that was worse for you than actual meat.
I mean, it's full of salt, but other than that, it's fine.
Well, I don't want to eat fucking synthesized meat.
Well, you don't have to, and no one's making.
And also, who's going to pay the grocery store workers? Who's going to pay for?
We wouldn't have grocery stores.
What?
I mean, you wouldn't have nearly as many, but that could be a job you had, because you would still make money off of like commodities.
How would anyone? Then where would the food go? What, are you just going to have a government van drive around and drop off fucking shit like HelloFresh?
You could do that some places. You could just have a big store, like a co-op, where you could go get what you needed, like a pantry for the community, and then you could have stores for like...
And it would be looted beyond belief.
But there would be no incentive to steal because it's free.
Human beings are greedy by nature.
Not if they have what they need.
No, they are still greedy by nature. Remember,
yeah,
we are predators.
I know people like you are. You have to have everything.
The vast
to be
majority, and you're deluding yourself if you think you're any different than me.
Oh, I'm much different than you. I'm a much better person than you, Dave.
Oh, really? Really? So, you would actually... Shit hits the fan.
Okay, shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan, and there's a family across the street, and you're sitting pretty, but you know you're sitting pretty if it's just you. Are you seriously going to share your resources with the family across the street? The answer is no.
In a post-apocalyptic scenario?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm not post-apocalyptic. I'm saying like a disaster that knocks shit out for like, let's say, 7 days. You ain't gonna give a fuck about anyone but yourself.
You don't know how you would react in that scenario either.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm looking out for me.
You'd fucking piss your pants and cry and just wait for the government to come help you.
No, I wouldn't.
You'd sit there with your little revolver and be like, don't come near my things.
No, I don't rely on the government.
You would in that scenario if your power went out and you didn't have any water. What are you gonna do?
You
gonna dig a well?
First off, I don't know how to build a fire.
Wow. You can't eat fire.
Second off, my stove is gas.
Gas goes out. Earthquake, gas line breaks, water main breaks.
Gee, then I guess I'm smart enough to have a few supplies stocked up for
for how long?
7 days. After that, then yeah.
Days.
But again, I'm not sharing. Your mentality would be I should share with my community. therefore dwindling my supplies to, let's say,
Honestly,
3 days.
If you're hoarding supplies in that scenario, somebody's going to come and kill you and take it.
Good luck with that.
Because you're not trained. You don't know how to fight. You don't have combat training.
You sure about that?
I can look at you, Dave. I know you don't.
Yeah.
You're out of shape. You can barely do 10 push-ups, and you drink constantly. Like, what are you going to do without
the last
alcohol?
time I did push-ups, I did 50, so there's that.
Yeah, I don't believe you, but
it was on stream.
You can't push up someone to death.
But
you'd probably end up just accidentally shooting yourself in the foot and bleeding out.
No, I'm sure I'd do that.
Oh, you
I love it. I love it when the leftists start losing the argument. They just start swinging erratically.
He's losing because I can't come up with any ideas. Like this, you do this every time.
My idea. I just gave you. You would not share your supplies with a family in need.
You're making up a story about a fake scenario and a fake person telling me how I would react. Yeah, that's not an argument. That's just a huge, big straw man.
So you're
because you're a sociologist and psychologist.
Because I know how you would react.
You don't know me, Dave.
Dictate.
You don't know me. We're strangers.
Thank
you
God,
don't even know my real name.
Thank God I don't know you. Thank all the gods of every religion that ever was that I don't know you.
Why? Would you beat me up? Would you call me a slur? Would you... If you saw me in public, you'd slink away and not say anything. And you'd be like, I saw him at this door.
No, I wouldn't even say that. If we met, if we were at like a bar and I seen you and knew what you looked like, I'd just maybe say howdy or send you a beer.
Yeah, I doubt you're that much of a man. You'd probably leave.
You'd be shocked.
You'd be like, oh, and you'd leave because you'd be too embarrassed. Because you're a pussy. Like, I don't know why you think you're like a big, manly man. Like, you've never shown anything to make people think that.
Sorry, I had to kill another bug. I swear to God, I gotta get the... There's gotta be an entry point. They're coming in. But, yeah, what was your little rant about? Sorry, I missed it.
I don't know. Something fucking stupid.
But, as for combat training, again, I've said it several times. I used to do kickboxing or taekwondo.
Can you still do it today?
Actually, probably, yeah.
I doubt it. I wouldn't bet any money on you.
Well, I wouldn't bet any money either. I'm 41 years old. I have no business getting in the fight game.
That's the point. You just admitted you couldn't win a fight if you had to.
Yeah, I could win a fight. Like a street fight? Because there are no fucking rules. There's no honor in a fight. It's grab whatever you can.
I mean, if somebody attacked you, I don't think you could fight them off. Not that it matters. Like, I don't care. Like, it's not an argument to be had. If somebody attacked me out in public, they're getting shot. Like, we're not playing this. I'm not slapboxing somebody on the street.
Funny, even the leftist goes for the gun.
Yeah, leftists aren't against guns, genius. That's liberals. Like, you just make up straw men and get mad at them.